Hello, my name is Sazjia Washington. This is my presentation on meditation in Buddhism for Introduction to Buddhism. First thing I'm going to talk about is what exactly is meditation. Meditation is practiced across many different religions, many different spiritualities, whether it be the definite Buddhist way that is taught or whether it be a way that people have adapted over time. So one of the main things that everyone agrees on for meditation is that it's it's the practice of sitting quietly and calmly for an extended period of time. So you sit and you don't really do anything except either you decide to reflect on your life or what's going on, or you just sit and have a clear mind, which is another important point, is to have a clear mind whenever you meditate, because that's what gets you the best results. And as you can see in the picture I have on this slide, that is one of the Buddhist monks meditating. He looks peaceful and he's not really doing anything else besides sitting. Next, I'm going to talk about how exactly to meditate. So when you meditate, you want to make sure you sit still, sitting still, so you don't distract yourself with doing other things, whether it's running or exercising or anything of that nature. So sitting still is one of the most important things. Another thing is to clear your mind. Clearing your mind allows you to practice reaching inner peace and enlightenment, and it just allows you to become one with your meditation practice. And so the most important thing about meditation is that you remain in this state. This is to practice focusing, practice being able to know your thoughts and become one with who you are exactly. Meditation has many different goals. In Buddhism, the goal is to reach enlightenment. It's taught in many noble texts. It's taught, passed down over time, that in order to reach enlightenment, you have to meditate. And so there are different ways. Some people believe that there is instant enlightenment, in which it'll just happen instantly. It won't really take as long as people think. And it comes quickly from just going into the practices of Buddhism and meditating and stuff like that. Some people believe that there's gradual enlightenment, which means it takes a long time to reach enlightenment. It'll take many years, a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work to reach the point of enlightenment that a lot of people seek. Some other non-traditional goals of meditation would include better health and religious involvement. So for better health, a lot of people believe, and there's a lot of scientific studies that show that meditation helps with your health, whether it be mental or physical. There is a way that meditation can help you. And so that might be the primary reason that some people meditate. That might be a more westernized idea about why people should meditate. And so for religious involvement, it's not really taught meditation per se in other religions. Some people might think of it as a prayer of some type, even though they are different. Meditation and prayer are completely different. But you could say it's like trying to better yourself so you can better your understanding of who you are as a person. And by doing that, you better how you can religiously affiliate with your religion of choice, whether it be Buddhism, Christianity, Catholic, everything. So those are some of the goals of meditation. Personally, I would meditate just for better health. I myself am not a Buddhist, so I would meditate for like better health, to clear my mind and stuff like that, just to become more peaceful and more one with my person. Next, I'm going to talk about the two main types of meditation. If you look into meditation, there's going to pop up two of the main types, which is samadhi samatha meditation and vipassana meditation. So samatha meditation really focuses more so on attaining a peaceful mindset. And so for this, it's more of like a beginner's type of meditation. So people would practice samatha to kind of get into reaching a better and more peaceful mindset. And the purpose of this is to foster strong states of mental absorption called jhana, which is spelled Jhana. And so in order to do this, samatha uses concentrative meditation techniques. And this means that when people meditate, they focus on one specific thing rather than a clear mind, because when you start meditating, it might be hard for people to automatically go into having a clear mind. So it's easier to focus on something, like one thing, and try to attain a clear mind that way. And so one of the main things that people use is breathing. So breathing techniques, focusing on your breath, counting, and stuff like that. And so in the picture, you see the guy exhales, and then he inhales for 4 seconds, holds it for 7 seconds, and releases it for 8 seconds. And so that's just one of the ways people who practice samatha meditation would like focus on breathing and just focus their energy into one thing. And so there are other things that you can focus on. Some people might focus on counting, just simple 1, 2, 3, 4 counting. Some people might focus on music. It's just whatever helps you. It's whatever that you can focus on. So if it's one thing that you can focus on, then that would be a good thing to use for samatha meditation. So for vipassana meditation, it's more of like insight meditation. And so that's when you start to have a clear mind. You're starting to become more with like understanding yourself as a person and understanding the world. And so vipassana meditation, it means clear seeing. That's its like literal translation, is clear seeing. And it just means that it's easier for you to like understand who you are. And so the goal of vipassana meditation is to attain deep concentration and liberation from physical and mental suffering. So this is where it comes into play, the BetterHelp type of thing for meditation. Because once you reach vipassana meditation, you become more in tune with your body, more in tune with your spirituality. So you feel as though you can cure yourself per se from physical and mental sufferings. And so I think this is a type of meditation that people often search for. They search for answers to what they can do to make themselves better, what they can do to improve their lives, both physically and mentally, to have like a happier life. This is the type of meditation that people most often search for. So another thing that I wanted to mention is exactly where meditation came from. Meditation stems from the word meditatum, which is Latin for to ponder, which is exactly what meditating is. It's pondering about ideas, pondering about yourself, pondering within yourself to learn more about yourself. So I think that's a good background for where meditation comes from, because literally meditation is just pondering. And if you look at pictures of people meditating, it looks exactly the same as people pondering, except probably in a different position. And so yeah, people meditating is the same thing as people pondering, except it's with spirituality. Another thing I wanted to mention was Siddhartha the Buddha. He was born around 567 BCE, and he was born into a wealthy family, sort of as a prince. And his story is basically how meditation became a notable practice in Buddhism. So he was born in a very confined world, very protected world by his father, And so when he went out to the world and he started to see things as they truly are, he became more in tune with himself. So he left his home, he left all his privilege behind to go out into the world and see how it was without being sheltered. And so he saw death for the first time. He saw aging, he saw sickness, he saw all types of things for the first time. And he saw a man who was kind of like, he was kind of pushed out from society, and he decided to follow his path, and he left society to kind of reflect on his life and stuff like that. And so he came to the realization that meditating was one of the ways that people can become more in tune with themselves. He would meditate for extended periods of time to find the answer to many of life's questions that he had. And so when people realized that he was enlightened because of it and he had become a Buddha, he continued to teach meditation as one of the main focus goals of Buddhism. And his impact was very important because he even died meditating. Like, he believed to his core that meditating was the answer to reaching enlightenment. And so that's what he taught. He would meditate for weeks at a time, going without food, and just be enlightened. And so other people aspired to be like him, and that's one of the things that made meditating so big in the Buddhist community. So Siddhartha was one of the very first people to really think about bringing meditation into Buddhism and stuff like that. And this was a long time ago, like over thousands of years ago. And one of the things about him was that he was just a normal person. He wasn't a god or a demigod or anything. He was a normal human being that found enlightenment. So I feel like that really inspired other people to kind of follow his path and kind of take up meditation in their own daily lives and stuff like that. So I would say definitely that Siddhartha the Buddha was one of the most impactful influences on meditation. I also wanted to mention how some of the notable texts that talk about meditation. One of them would be the Noble Eightfold Path, and in that it says that meditation is a combination of the right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And it also says that meditation is one of the most important ways to become one with yourself and one with Buddha and one with the guides that you pray to. And so for this, the Noble Eightfold Path sets out like 8 paths that Buddhists should take in order to reach enlightenment. And when you look through it and you kind of learn about it more, you sort of realize that meditation is used in just about every path, because in order to achieve the paths, you have to achieve like mindfulness, you have to achieve peace and calamity. So in order to do all of that, you have to meditate. And so in order to go through the 8 paths of the Eightfold Path, you have to meditate. And that is one of the main teachings in Buddhism, is to follow the Noble Eightfold Path. So I feel like that kind of it kind of enhances the effect of meditation in Buddhism. Another thing I wanted to mention was the Dhyana Sutra, which is also known as the Meditative Sutra. And it says that there are 3 levels of meditation to achieve in the Pure Land, which is the superior, the intermediate, and the inferior. So it's really just depending on like how much you meditate, how good you are at it. And when you get to the Pure Land, it'll be like you're categorized as superior, intermediate, or inferior, and it kind of directs how you'll be treated in the afterlife or when you're reborn. And so one thing I also wanted to talk about with being reborn in the Buddhist religion it really depends on like how you are during your time on earth. So if you have like really good karma when you're on earth, and you practice like very closely the Buddhist religion, and you practice your meditation and everything, then you'll be reborn into a good afterlife. Like you'll probably be reborn into the Pure Land. Or if you're like average, you do good, you do bad, you're a human basically, like you really didn't like improve your karma, but you really didn't do anything bad, you could be reborn into the earth again, so that you get a chance to continue to earn good karma. Or God forbid you have bad karma. And if you have like bad karma, then you'll be reborn into like a hellish realm. That could even include like being reborn into animal, because when you're reborn as an animal, it's hard for you to achieve good karma, because there's not much you can really do. You'd have to do something really big in order to achieve good karma as an animal. So, and that just comes with like, when you do good karma, like you meditate over things, and like you realize that being a peaceful person is the way to go, then you start to achieve good karma, you start to do good things. And so it all kind of ties in together when you're able to achieve good karma, meditate to Buddha, and do all this other kind of stuff, and eventually reach enlightenment and live your afterlife in a good like place in like the Pure Land, or even come back as a human again and try to experience life again and get it right. So I did want to talk about some of the benefits of meditation that have been proven. Multiple scientific studies show that meditation has mental and physical benefits. It has positive effects on sleep, anxiety, depression, and emotional control. And I'm going to mention one of the studies that I found about this, but it's very compelling how meditation helps people sleep, because it helps you focus. It kind of helps you wind down at the end of the day, or at the beginning of the day, whenever you do it. It kind of helps you become less anxious to really be by yourself. So when you practice meditation, you're able to focus on yourself and focus on your breathing, and you're going into like a deep meditative state. And so when you're sleeping, it's kind of the same thing. Like you're able to calm your brain down, you're able to focus on wanting to go to sleep, and you can sleep better and stuff like that. And with the anxiety, because like meditation helps you focus on you as a person, so it makes you become more in tune with yourself, and you're able to calm yourself down whenever you feel anxious about things. And then for like depression and emotional control, it just comes back to being able to center yourself and being able to know yourself as a person. And so meditation allows you to kind of control yourself, and that can be tied into the samatha meditative practice, because when you like control your breathing, or you can like control your surroundings, you feel like you can control your emotions in the same way. And so finally, one of the scientific studies that I found was When Science Meets Mindfulness, and it was a Harvard study done in 2015, and the purpose of it was to study the effects of meditation on mindfulness. And so in order to do this, a scientist measured the before and after of the before and after of brain activity of people who were depressed but then learned how to meditate. And so they used the fMRI scan to show the differences in the brain activity of people who were depressed before and after they meditated. And so one of the things, like in the picture, it shows the left one is before people learned how to meditate, and it's showing that whenever they were in a stressful situation, or whenever they were pegged with doubtful thoughts, you could see the amygdala being more active. It's a brighter color, and on the scale on the right side, it shows that the brighter color means that it's more active, and the amygdala is like the part of the brain that shows fear and like sadness and stuff like that. So before people learned how to meditate, it was very active, but I believe it was 2 months. And afterwards, when people were pegged with those same negative thoughts and stressful situations, it was less active. People were more calm about things. And so that was just one of the ways that scientists showed that people can disengage from negative thoughts more after they've learned to meditate. And it's just one of the good benefits of meditating, and it's scientifically proven. So it's not just a religious thing, it's not just a spiritual thing, it's a scientific thing as well. So it's really hard to doubt the effects of meditation on your daily life. Even as like a beginner in meditating, you'll start to see effects of like being more calm and having a more positive outlook on your day and stuff like that. So I believe that everybody should try to meditate for at least 15 minutes in the morning or 15 minutes before you go to bed, just so that you can clear your mind for the day or clear your mind from the day and sort of be able to have your time to say to yourself that I'm going to get to know myself better, and I'm going to get to a place where I can be peaceful and understand what's going on. And so I really believe that Buddhism has just had a great impact on like Buddhist practices have had great impacts on people's daily lives without people even knowing it, because some people believe that meditation is just a thing that everybody does, but they don't realize that it came from Buddhism, and Buddhism like has impacted people's lives in ways they don't know. So that's my presentation on meditation in Buddhism and how it affects us in our daily lives.